Matt Korea, pleasure to be here tonight. When I came into the meeting, I see you have a thing on the table that are fighting fracking in Michigan, and that's what I'd like to talk to you about. Most of the time when they fracked in Michigan, it was just straight up and down oil drilling, and it didn't really cause that much damage to the environment. Now, that much is a lot to some people, but it's been in Michigan for quite a number of years and it hasn't presented any kind of major problems. But now what they want to do, right in our backyard in Egleston Township, is have horizontal fracking, where they go down and then all of a sudden L-shaped they go across. Now what this has caused in other communities is the water to be soured permanently. Once the water's soured, you can't go ahead and get it back. So Ravenna is really close to Egleston, and if this water gets soured in Ravenna, it's going to get soured out here because nobody in these communities has city water. Now, one of the plans that has been talked about is they would like to have all the communities out in this area get city water for no other reason than to make more use of the wastewater system and go ahead and stick their hands in their back pockets to get more tax money out of us. But this fracking issue is supremely dangerous. For all the things I've worked on in political activism, most of it has to do with tax increases. I'm against every one of them. I don't care what anybody who says the money's going to be used for it. But this one scares the wits out of me, because once your water is soured, you're done. You don't have to have water daily to go ahead and survive. And if you have a big area in Muskegon County where the water is polluted and not drinkable, then it's an extreme health hazard. And sure, they're going to come in there and tell us, well, guess what? You'll get city water, just like the people out by Nugent Sand in Northern Shores, down in a little community called Idlewild. They had well water for years until Nugent Sand operations, when they had damaged the water. So they said, we'll just pump in city water. Well, what they're missing with this is, once they go ahead and ruin the water supply out here, it's going to cost that much more to go ahead and purify the city water, if they can even go ahead and do it. So this is a bigger battle than trying to fight in the jail. This is a bigger battle than fighting a lot of other things that people have been involved in around here. The horizontal fracking has to come to a halt. There was an attorney that I spoke with a couple of weeks ago, and he said, unfortunately, the way the fracking industry has manipulated everything, there's not a lot local communities can do until it's too late, and you turn on your spigot, and instead of nice clear water, you get brown water. Well, I think there is something we can do about it. I think it takes a whole lot of people to get involved in this. I think a whole lot of pressure has to be brought to bear in Egleston Township as well as other locations where anybody who even thinks of coming in this county to do any horizontal fracking can be told to pack their bags and hit the road. They have one well right now that's in Silver Lake area, and the water, the way they got the thing drilled horizontally, goes right into Lake Michigan. So I really pity those folks up there because they haven't been able to stop it yet. They're working on it, but they haven't been able to get it stopped. Hopefully we'll be able to get it stopped out in Ravenna here before any well touches the ground. So thank you for the opportunity today.
Thank you, Matt. What was your name again?
Matt Creedman.
Where do you live?
Northern Shores. And I have well water now.
He's got petitions.
Sure.
Very great, and as a follow-up to this gentleman's, I've got the petition here.
Thanks.
Anybody wants to sign it? I've got a few slots left. Thank you.
Here, go ahead. This one.
Against
Any
it.
other comments?
Yeah, I think my name is Dan Mills, North Muskegon, and I'm here for the same reason. And I see your emblem up there, water's on the top, water's on the bottom. That's really important for sure. And we try to our water here in Michigan for sure. Anyway, the thing that's really scary, I just learned about this recently. I thought drilling oil, it was messy, sure. I didn't know until just recently about the Halliburton loophole. Now, that's easy to remember Halliburton. Everybody knows that word, loophole. It's easy to find online, too. And what it does is it exempts the fracking industry from the Clean Air, Clean Water Act's national protection for our resources. It also exempts them from the Great Lakes Compact. Now, you know, I'm sure, that some companies have extracted water out of the ground to bottle it and sell it. And then what happens is people, their wells dry up around the neighborhood. Well, these fracking people do the same sort of thing, except they're pulling out millions of gallons. And when these horizontal wells, they frack, then they go farther and frack again, and go farther. Millions and millions of gallons of water that go on forever. And that comes out of the water, out of the ground around us. So there goes our resources, never to be seen again. Okay, now like I said, the Halliburton loophole exempts these companies from the Clean Water, Clean Air Act. They actually can go ahead and start fracking next door to you. And do you think they have to tell you they're going to do it? No. Do you think if they have a chemical spill, they have to notify you? No. Do you think that they have to supply the list of chemicals that they're injecting under the water? Maybe it's toxic waste. They don't have to. They can just call it a trade secret. The DEQ just recently met with us, and they're being quoted as saying, you know, that the DEQ is regulating this industry. Well, the DEQ is actually funded by the oil industry now. They don't get funded by the taxpayers so much anymore. They charge the oil industry. The oil industry pays them for their job. So that's how they can afford to have staff members. And so they're not going to, you know, complain too much about what they're doing about their risk factors. And so another thing that the DEQ said was that they get a list of these chemicals that are being injected underwater or underground. And if there's a problem, then they regulate that. Well, the truth is they don't get that paperwork until after the fact, until after they've injected it. And they have absolutely no way to verify if that list of chemicals is accurate. And I had this on video, it's online just last week, the DEQ put them to the spot. I said, how do you verify that list is accurate? And they said, we don't have a program for that. They're completely, totally unregulated. They spill, they leak, the chemical spills, they have fires, the trucks break down, and this is happening here. And it's happening because a few people are making a lot of money, and a lot of that money is going to the politicians, and so it's really up to us to spread the word and send the petitions to end fracking, this kind of unregulated fracking in Michigan. That's our only chance. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Roger Nye. I'm from North Shores. I'm here to speak also on fracking. I want to bring up a few aspects that have not been brought up yet. One of them is that, well, specifically the application in Egleston Township is on the grounds of the Swanson Pickle Company. The application specifically states that they do expect to encounter hydrogen sulfide gas. Hydrogen sulfide is a heavier than air, highly toxic substance that can kill people within minutes. In small doses, it can make people very sick. In areas where there has been fracking, many elements have been reported. Of course, the people who are doing the fracking try to evade all responsibility for it. If this well is drilled and is successful in obtaining any significant amount of hydrocarbons, oil and gas, there will be more wells. There will be a lot more wells. And you've got to consider what the effects are going to be upon your township. Is your fire department sufficiently staffed, trained, and do they have the know-how to deal with hydrogen sulfide emission? Local schools have drills for things like this. The local hospitals, the emergency room nurses know what to do if an oil field worker is brought in covered with fracking fluid. There's the eminent domain issue too. You may not know this, but it's very likely that a significant percentage of the people in your township have already leased out or sold their mineral rights to the land on which they live. And in many cases, this may have happened even before the Halliburton loophole was established. It's a big thing apparently in the countryside around here. People do this to balance their books. And they don't necessarily realize what the consequences could be. I might add that even if you get city water, you're still at risk if your groundwater is polluted because you may be unable to sell your real estate. In some cases, insurance companies will not insure areas where the groundwater is polluted, and mortgage companies will not grant loans if the groundwater is polluted. This has actually happened in the city of Muskegon, in an area in the northeast quadrant of the city. People have found that their homes are practically worthless because of groundwater pollution that came from the Burgess Norton Company. So these are all things that have to be considered when you're thinking about the possibility that there could be an oil and gas boom in this area. There are a lot of negative aspects to it. There can be rapid jumps in population, people coming from out of state who have no commitment to this area, trying to stay a few years and get out again. Housing shortages, there can be crime increases. There are all sorts of aspects we may not have thought about. I suggest you look in the March 2013 issue of National Geographic magazine to see the effects that fracking and the oil and gas boom have had on certain parts of North Dakota. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.